I am Bernadette Henry, and I'm a mental health and an emotional wellness coach for busy working moms. And I help moms by providing coaching, courses, consultation to help you live your best lives physically, mentally, and emotionally. And today we are talking about your child's autism and it not being a burden. And I'm going to tie this into the topic that I'm going to be discussing on my upcoming webinar, From Suspecting to Accepting, when your child, or dealing with your emotions after your child has been diagnosed with ASD, Asperger's, autism, whichever term that you use, okay? And, you know, a lot of times when moms find out that their child have this diagnosis, we go through different stages. So you go through stages of denial, anger, guilt, grief, and then relief, or accepting the diagnosis for what it is. However, it is a process. It does not happen overnight. And sometimes when you're in those stages, you don't even realize that you're in those stages until maybe years later, or when time goes by and you're like, oh, maybe that was that. Like even me, when I was going through the stages, I didn't realize that I was going through those things until years later, when I kind of look back at things that I said or that I've posted on Facebook, etc. So I know some of you that are in the autistic community, or you're parents of an autistic child, you've seen the article floating around the internet where Toni Braxton said her child is healed of autism, okay? She said her child was healed of autism. And I don't know if those were her words or if the media put a spin on those words. However, a lot of parents became infuriated about that because it's false hope. Like there's no such thing as getting healed from autism, no such thing. Now, because of who Toni is, and not really necessarily having to do with who she is, but I'm sure she was able to get the best therapies for her child, which maybe diminished the signs of autism. But at the end of the day, the child has autism. Maybe her child was on the high end of the spectrum, so a lot of his behaviors, really didn't mimic the signs, or he's able to get a better grasp of his diagnosis through therapy. Now, my child is on the spectrum and he's high functioning, but it doesn't take away that he has an autism diagnosis. We still deal with things. It's still tough at home at times, but it's just not, like I said, it's just not going to go away. And no matter how good it seems things are going, it doesn't take away. And he still has this diagnosis, and he still have the signs and symptoms. People may not look at him and tell because there is no look to autism, but when you start engaging in conversations and different things, it's just a matter of how he moves, how he talks, what he talks about. If you're familiar with autism, you're going to know. If not, you're not going to know, because that doesn't really cross a lot of people's mind. So a lot of times what other people are doing, and I remember a time people were saying, oh, don't claim that, don't say that, your child is not this, your child is not that. That's their denial, and they're projecting their denial in my situation, which is not the case, which shouldn't be the case, which is not the case. So you really have to be strong and know what's going on for yourself so that you don't take other people's perception and avoid getting the help that your child needs. So let me just get into a few bullet points, and then you can ask me questions, and then y'all can just sign up for the webinar. So autism is not a burden. It's not a tragedy. You cannot and you will not fix autism. Point blank, period. Now, there are things that you can do, such as get therapies and things like that to lessen the symptoms, but at the end of the day, you just can't fix it. Accept it. Number two, the media sometimes, they depict autism as bad, so they kind of take the worst case scenario and and when people see it, that's what they think autism is. But I can say that one positive thing that people always say is, oh, they're so smart. But hey, Sean, hey, Steve. And yes, it's true that, children on the autism spectrum, they're very smart, but it still doesn't take away, the diagnosis or what's going on. So, you have there's two ways that the media depicts it. They either take the worst of the worst case situation and they put it in people's mind that people that's autistic are bad and they're doing this and they all wear helmets and things of that nature. And then the other side of the spectrum is that they're smart. So yes, just because an autistic child is smart, there's still deficits in other areas, okay? Also, as parents, if you know somebody that has an autistic child, don't feel sorry for us. Don't feel bad. Like, we are not suffering. We're not suffering. And we're just not suffering. Like, it's like you tell somebody, oh, your child has autism. Hey, Lily. And they're like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, sorry for what? This is like my child's existence. And what am I going to do about that. And this is why it's great to have a support system, because you get to sit around people that are in the same shoes and they understand. So example, when I go to IEP meetings at my son's school, or when I just go to report card time, guess what? I can sit around with the teacher, the social worker, the therapist, the occupational therapist, the speech therapist, and we all sit around and laugh because we all understand. And it's not that we're laughing at my child, it's the fact that we kind of all understand where each other's coming from. So it's like, I can say, yeah, he does this at home, and then yeah, he does this at school too. Yeah, so, you know, I can get into examples, a lot of them more so when I'm in my webinar. Number 3, love your child as they are. Give them the support that they need to thrive and follow their dreams. Okay, let me repeat that again. Love your child as they are and give them the support they need to thrive and follow their dreams. Okay, now for me, my son, he's very high functioning and he does receive services in school. Hey, Monica. So he receives like one-on-one therapy. He receives group therapy. He receives occupational therapy, and he receives speech therapy. And hey, Corey, and he receives all of those services in school, and they're working for him. They're helping him. So outside of school, I really don't have him in therapy, or I don't have him in autistic specific activities, because we manage, like I try to integrate him in everything. However, there are certain circumstances in which I may have to take him to a community that's autism accepted, because he's not going to fit with all kids. So if it's something like, for example, karate was very structured. So every kid, even though they were together in their practice, they were all individuals. So they were all individuals sitting and doing the same thing. So there was really no communication and things like that. So that, you know, was good for my son, because he was able to just go through the motions and do what he had to do, and he was very good at what he did. But if it's a setting in which, you know, they have to communicate with each other, maybe having him in a regular setting won't be the best for him. I would have to put him maybe in an autistic specific activity, but I try to normalize things as much as possible, but I know when I have to like get him special treatment. So yes, just love your child as they are and give them the support that they need to thrive. Like my son wants to become a marine biologist. So in order for me to support that, he has encyclopedias. Like, he's excited to get encyclopedias for his birthdays and Christmas. Like, what other child is excited about that? Like, I just asked him, his birthday is next month. Hey, what do you want for your birthday? I want a sketchbook. I want a shark encyclopedia. No problem. You can have as many encyclopedias as you want, you know. But these are things that give my son joy. Like, he likes encyclopedias. He likes knowledge and information. So I can't even be mad at him. Like, the other day, I told him to read a book to my son, to the baby, and he got the book, and it's like a shark book that he carries in his book bag every day. So he opened up the book. There's like at least 20 or 30 sharks there, and it has no names. He sat there and named every single shark. I was just like, oh, okay, you go. Okay, so if you are a mom with a child on the autism spectrum, autistic, or ASD, just know your child is not sick. Okay, it's your child having autism is not tragic. Your child is not broken. Your child is not in need of fixing. Your child is not a burden. So let me repeat that. And for those that know people or know moms of autistic children, you feel pity and sorry, don't do it. Like, we're taking care of our kids, okay? Their child is not sick, okay? Their child is not in a tragic situation. Their child is not broken. Their child is not in need of fixing. Their child is not a burden, okay? And like, don't take your denial and put your denial on that mom, because most times that mom that just found out that her child is autistic, she's going through her own denial. She's going through her own issues, trying to manage her emotions around this news that she just heard, okay? So I just wanted to leave you with that. And hey, Mika, I just want y'all to know that I have an upcoming webinar, and the webinar is called From Suspecting to Accepting, Managing Your Emotions After Your Child has been diagnosed with autism, ASD, or Asperger's. It's a very hard thing to deal with, because like all parents, we want our child to be quote unquote normal. But then, you know, once we hear this news, we just go through these feelings and decide, what did I do? How did I make this happen? What can I do to heal my child? I'm angry. Why did this happen to me? Why my child? And then you're like, okay, what kind of quality of life is my child going to have? So you go through all these feelings, and it doesn't go away immediately. Hey, Miss Karen, it doesn't go away immediately. It takes time. It takes years, as a matter of fact. And it took me years to finally accept my child's diagnosis. And like I said, looking back at it now in my current mind frame, I was in denial. I was angry. I felt guilty, and I felt all of these emotions, but I didn't know at the time because I was so busy trying to get that help. But when you're a mom of a newly diagnosed autistic child, you need that support. And this is what I'm here to give you. I'm here to give you, hey Angelique, I'm here to give you that support. So I have an upcoming webinar. Like I said, hey Jean-Pierre, once again, I have a webinar coming up in about 2 weeks, and it's called From Suspecting to Accepting, Managing Your Emotions as a Mom of a Special Needs Child. If you are interested in this webinar, just put webinar in the comments. If you know a mom who's just been told that their child is autistic, feel free to share this video with them so that they can get this knowledge too, because I know how it feels to have this news and not be supported by friends, family. You're navigating this alone. Your child is acting out. You're like, I don't know what to do. I'm losing my mind. It's reality. It's reality. It's reality. So just like I said, be sure to join the webinar. I will be putting that information in the on Instagram. You just have to DM me the word webinar, DM me webinar. And on Facebook, you can just put webinar in the comment section, and I will put the link. And also I'm going to put the link in the description of the video. Like I said, feel free to share this out with someone that may have a child, maybe a mom of an autistic child. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them here in the comments. If it's too sensitive, feel free to just send me a DM or a message. Okay.